Hello and welcome to Hands-on Art. Today we're going to learn about optical illusion art and we're going to make a wavy paper art kind of like this. Believe me, it's easier than it looks. All right, let's get started. So what is an optical illusion? Well, basically it's something that you see that tricks your eyes. Anything optical relates to the eyes, and an illusion is something that appears to be true, but it isn't. Look at these samples and you'll see what I mean. Sometimes when people talk about this kind of art, they shorten it from optical illusion art to op art. Op art started appearing a little less than 100 years ago. This picture of zebras was done by an artist named Victor Vasarely. He was considered a pioneer in the abstract art movement. Notice how the background and foreground give in to one another. Here is another example of art where the background, also called negative space, and what is the foreground can confuse the viewer. Do you see a vase or two faces looking at each other? Let's look at a few more examples and think about what kinds of tools people use to create these illusions. One thing we should know is that we don't just perceive the world as it actually is. Our brains take what we see and make assumptions based on that. After all, our eyes are usually a very trustworthy guide to our world. For instance, which is longer, the top line or the bottom one? Surprise, they're the same. Our brain uses cues from the road, which appears to be disappearing into the distance, to convince us that the top line is longer. So playing with depth perception is one more tool sometimes used in op art. Op art often uses mathematically inspired geometric shapes in black and white, like these from artist Bridget Riley. Some optical illusions use color to make our eyes go all wavy. Look at this image for a few seconds and see what happens to you. The contrasting colors and patterns give the illusion the art is moving. Really, it isn't. So now let's meet a very important artist who is a master of optical illusion, M.C. Escher. You've undoubtedly seen his work before. M.C. Escher was born in 1898 in the Netherlands. As a child, he wasn't particularly a good student, and he felt that he had no mathematical ability, but he did love to draw. He grew up to be an artist. In his travels and as he got older, he became fascinated by interlocking patterns in the tiles he saw at a palace in Spain. These patterns are called tessellations. Here is an example of interlocking lizard tessellations. Escher liked to use tessellations to gradually transform one image to another, like the bird and the fish image in this example. Escher also loved to draw art that depicted the impossible. What would it be like to visit this world? Escher asks, "Are you sure a floor can't also be a ceiling?" Look at these stairways that forever go up. You could climb and never reach the top. Even though Escher didn't think he was good at math, his work was, in fact, very mathematical, and he ended up working with mathematicians who marveled at and even studied the precision of his creations. He drew this image of hands drawing hands. He said, "My work is a game, a very serious game." So are you ready to give it a try? Let's go to the How to Make Wavy Paper tutorial.